Welcome, friends, to the Play Guitar Podcast. I'm Lee, and I'm here to help you become the guitar player that you always wanted to be. Today, we're going to be talking about confidence. A huge problem I deal with on a weekly basis, helping a lot of folks with their confidence problems. Whether you're just picking up the guitar for the first time, or you've been playing for years, but you still feel stuck. Or it could be that things are uncertain when you start to play something. You don't know if you're playing the right thing or not. Or you're inconsistent. You might play it right one time, and then the next time you go to play it and you can't figure out what you did the time before to make it sound right? This is all for you. This whole episode's for you. I'm very familiar with this. I deal with this every week. I've seen it over and over again. Players who have good skill, they have good gear, they've got the time to work on it, they still don't feel confident. They don't feel like real guitar players. Maybe that imposter syndrome that's been passed around a lot lately, the imposter syndrome. Well, you got the stuff, but you're not really a guitar player. You might work at a regular job, so that doesn't make you a guitar player. There's not many people who are playing music full time anymore. You know, they all got jobs. Go out and see your favorite band. They got jobs, right? That doesn't make you less than. You have music in you, and it's time for you to express that. And I will support you in that 100%, right? So confidence, it doesn't come from talent. It doesn't come from how long you played. It comes from not hoping anymore. The problem with people who are not confident is when they play, they hope for the best, and that creates stress. If you could have clarity in your playing, if you could have simplicity, if it was okay for you to play something simple and correct rather than something difficult and wrong, you might start to feel confident in what you're playing, in where you are at the time. And even these little tiny steps that move you forward gives you forward motion and confidence in a path that you're moving forward. Knowing that, hey, I don't have to be Eddie Van Halen. I don't have to be these people. I can be me at this step in my life. So as usual, a lot of these topics, whether it's geared towards an intermediate player, there's a lot of things that beginners can learn from this. This is aimed towards beginner players, and there's a lot of things that intermediate players can learn from this. And one of those is holding the guitar. Now, I did a whole video on that just today. It probably came out this week. Probably when you're hearing this, probably yesterday it came out. Holding the guitar. Don't push that away. Like, oh, that's beginner stuff. Take a look at what you're doing. Advanced players, take a look at the way you're holding the guitar. Does it help you? Does it, the standing on one side with your shoulder up high and then your arms out in the air, is that really helping your playing or not? Right? Holding the strap down really low looks cool. Does that helping your playing a lot? Take a listen to your playing. Maybe a small adjustment in that area might make you feel a little bit better, right? So feeling awkward holding the guitar is a big thing. I'm doing this on acoustic. Oh, it's been a while. There you go. There's the theme song on acoustic guitar there. Holding an acoustic guitar is very different than holding an electric guitar. And I remember when I first started on acoustic guitar, the reaching over, the leaning over the guitar. And then when I would play, the bad posture I would have, and actually made my tone horrible because I'm putting so much weight on the guitar, it wasn't able to resonate. And this one might not, you might not hear it so much on this guitar, but on the guitar I had at the time, you could hear it. As soon as I leaned on the guitar, it just went flat, right? So feeling awkward holding the guitar, taking a minute to pay attention to these little things. It's very important. But that being said, a lot of us, one of the big problems with confidence with the guitar is the scatteredness we have right now. Going out and learning too many things too quickly, moving on to a new thing before you finish learning it. That's one thing. And another thing is you're doing people's methods of teaching, and you're picking and choosing from them, and they may not all match. They may not be in a logical progression to help you get to a point where you're not hoping that you're going to play good anymore. You know that what you're going to play is good. There's the confidence that I want from you. Whether you're a beginner, an intermediate, or an advanced player, I want you to know that you're working on something so that you know when you play it, it will sound pretty nice and appropriate for the time that you're playing. And that can be across the board. Now, a lot of these things, we have these little sticking points. A lot of the basics that I'm bringing up today. And you might think, some people say, oh, it sounds like you're talking to me, right? Well, I am talking to you. But it sounds like that I know exactly what your problems are. I don't know exactly what your problems are. But what I do know is the people who are in my circle here of the problems that I deal with over and over and over again. And one of those is a big one, and that's comparing yourself to other people. It's almost automatic. Sometimes you just can't help yourself. When you hear someone play good, you get, for a minute, you go, oh, that sounds great. And then that kind of pit in your stomach happens where you go, I don't sound like that. I don't sound that good. Right? And in an instant, you're comparing yourself with other people's playing. And, oh, I should just give up, or, oh, I'm never going to be that good. That is just horrible thinking. Okay, you can't compare yourself to not only just other players, but other players who've been doing this for years, and you may have been doing this for 6 months, or 3 months, or 2 months, or a week. You compare yourself to other players when you've only been playing for a week. I know you did. I did. The people I helped do too. So this is why you struggle with confidence, because you compare yourself to other players who are years ahead. You're scattered. You don't know what you're playing, if it's going to work right or not, and you feel awkward holding the guitar. In the beginning, in the middle, and in the end, we're either not confident or we have a good night. That's one thing I hear. Oh yeah, I had a good night last night. Right. And so the next week I'd see a person who's told me that the week before, and I say, "Do you have another good night this night?" No, it wasn't as good. Didn't last. You hope the confidence just comes to you. But you can plan for it. You need to know what it looks like. What does confidence look like in a person? Think of someone that you've seen play that looks confident. Why are they confident? Because they know what they're going to play is going to sound good, or at least appropriate. It's going to work. At least they think it is. We've all been wrong. But you have a 99.999% chance of when you play over a C chord, you play a C note, it's going to sound good, right? So what is confidence? Confidence is being okay in where you are. Being settled. That doesn't mean that you're not going to move forward. That doesn't mean you have goals. But where you are right now is where you are, and you have something good to say no matter what stage guitar player you are. I wish that I had recordings of myself playing when I was 15, 16, 17. I may have some somewhere. I'm not sure. I'm going to look for those. But I wish I could just click on there and listen to what I played there. I'd hear all the bad stuff, but I'd also hear the good stuff. I know that there's some ideas that I had back then that I wouldn't have today. My experience is different now. And I played some good stuff. I remember some of the stuff that I played. Now, was I sloppy? Probably, but that's where I was at the time. Each stage of your playing is important. The stage that you're at right now is important. It's not this kind of journey where like, well, I'm here, but I'm not really doing it until I've been playing for 20 years. No, there's 20 years of important things that you're playing. Something that you learned today, maybe you've been learning for 6 months. You might go, Whoa, I like the way that sounds. That little idea that you played could affect the rest of your playing for the rest of your life. I have licks that I play now that came about from the 80s and the 90s. I'm still playing them. I'm still getting ideas from those things. Winging it. Have you ever winged it? Wing. I don't even know how to say that in the past. Have you ever been winging it before? What we're going to do is stop winging it a little bit. Start being confident in what we're playing. Start turning your practice into a 2-part system. One part where you work on the stuff that's not there yet. And then the other part where you perfect it. Take the thing that's ready to be played and repeat it over and over again. Refine it. So we have the foundry, and then we have the place where we polish it up, right? 2 parts of your practice. Not winging it anymore. Having some sort of structure for the stuff that you're learning to be able to be presented to people. That's a big problem, especially you folks that don't know any songs. I just did it again, didn't I? Who doesn't know any songs all the way through? Yeah, okay. I'm trying. I've been trying online since 2018 to get you folks that don't know how to play songs from the beginning to the end to do it. To take a few and learn it from the beginning to the end. You'll see something. You'll become valuable at that point. You got a few songs that you can start in the beginning and then play for someone and take them through time. They're yours as you start, and then you have the beginning, the verse 1, second one, or you get to the guitar solo. That would be cool. Then the chorus again, and then the ending, bam. And you presented them a complete picture of a song that you like. We tend as guitar players to learn the part we like and then forget the rest of the stuff, right? Then when it comes time to play a song, you're ill prepared, right? So let's move on to the next thing, celebrating progress. Not celebrating if something's perfect. I have some very, very dear friends who are playing guitar who are not happy unless it sounds perfect. And you know exactly who you are. Sometimes it's time to move on. Sometimes you get diminishing returns. So I'm going to sit here and I'm going to play this scale till I can play it perfectly. Well, maybe you just need that scale in your daily life. Maybe if it's not perfect, it will happen over time. Maybe if you stop everything else and get stuck on that scale and try and play it perfectly and then allow yourself to move on, at some point you might realize that 5 years went by and you still can't play that thing perfectly, but you wasted those 5 years building yourself as a musician. Okay. So we're going to celebrate progress. Okay. I may not play it perfectly, but now I know the scale. I may not know. Let's pick a scale. Let's pick the major blues scale. Oh, that sounds familiar. It has kind of like a country. It has a sound I've heard before. I wasn't able to play that last week. Well, but I'm not playing it perfectly, so I'm not going to move on. I'm just going to play this for the next 6 months. No. You learned something new. Celebrate that progress. Put it into use. Put it into your practice part. Not the polishing part yet, but the practice part yet. Keep moving forward. We don't need to have everything perfect. I haven't seen a perfect concert yet from any of my heroes. They're really good at hiding imperfection, hiding mistakes, but I haven't seen one yet. I've seen a lot of mistakes out there. Let's talk about fixing this. I like to fix problems. That's what I do. I like to help people. I like to fix problems. How are we going to do it? How are we going to build confidence from the first day? How can you get confident? Well, you got to enjoy yourself first. Getting a practice space that feels good. Here's mine. Mine is kind of a multi-purpose room. I'd share it with you. We've got a lot of stuff going on here. I got a lot of cool lights and stuff that I don't normally turn on when it's just me, right? But it's a fun place to practice, and I get a lot of stuff done. I'm going to focus on clean playing. If I'm going to be confident, I'm going to focus on clean playing. If I'm always trying to do something that I haven't practiced, if I'm always trying to play super fast when I don't practice playing super fast, just because, man, it would be great right now to play super fast. Well, do you practice that? Can you play it cleanly? No, I'm just going to do it anyway. And you share something that's maybe not really ready yet. But what you could do is play things slowly and cleanly and master being able to play those so that you're not hoping that it will come out, that you are sure that when I play this F major arpeggio, I could play that over any song where there's an F major chord because I know it's going to work. Why? Because I practiced it for months and months, right? I sound pretty sure of myself when I'm playing that, right? I'm not hunting around for notes. I know I'm good because I played it nice and slow. Did I sweet pick that for you? No, I didn't, because I haven't practiced that in a long time. I know it won't come out well. I can take the things that I do know and make good music out of them. The next thing is sticking to a step-by-step path. I try to share step-by-step paths. That's the thing that I try to do to design the offerings that I have for people. But it could be in when you're learning online. You may stick to, I'm just going to stick to lessons of a certain kind. I'm not going to jump around with these things. Have some sort of way to get to your goal that's thought out ahead of time, whether you get it from someone else or you design it yourself. A step-by-step path saves decades of time. You don't want to be playing exactly the same 30 years from now, right? You want to be trying in that half of your practice that you're working on things that are tough, that don't sound good, not the polished part. This is the forge, the foundry part where we're trying to get these things under our fingers. You want to know that you're constantly pushing it. Okay, I'm working on this next. But it's all in a direction. If you're a beginner and just starting, I have a step-by-step for you planned as well too. The first step is my free guide. It's the Absolute Beginner's Guide to Guitar. It's a mini video course. It comes to you by email. It's super easy and walks you through the important first steps. And also telling yourself, hey, this is where I'm at right now. I'm working on these things. I can be confident when I get those things under my belt. And then as I move forward, I'll keep accumulating these basic skills so I can build the musician that I'm trying to become. So how did I do today? What I was trying to do is show you that I know where you're at. I've been there myself, and I help people who are going through that every single day. I try to share little things that only someone who went through that would know. And then I try to show you my observations about how to be successful or to get stuck in a rut and which way is the way to go. And then I try to show you how to move forward, how to set yourself up for success and the way to think about that. Mostly, if you notice this, we get people all the time who go to this audio podcast and they go, hey, you're not playing, or you talked for this amount of time. And then, well, I'm gone or something like that. Well, that's fine. But what I've noticed from helping people who have these problems is that sometimes it's not the playing that's holding you back. Sometimes it's the stuff up here. And that's what I'm trying to work on here the most. I think it's probably more up here than it is the playing stuff. If between you and me, we'll just keep that our secret, right? Okay, so that's a wrap. Thanks for joining me today for the Play Guitar Podcast. Get confident and hit the button below to subscribe to the show. And if you have benefited from the podcast, please leave a favorable review for us over at Apple Podcasts. It really helps us get these things going. I will see you next week, and stay confident, my friend. Bye-bye.